Sometimes you just need to take a step back. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Today we're going to be talking about a update in my own personal card collection here, and why I am taking a step back from some of these particular Starlight Rares. Now, oh yeah, look, quarter century Super Polys here too, and a Starlight Zeus. Now, if you're probably wondering here, I mean, the talents should be $19.50 a playset. The Pot of Prosperity should be about $1,200 to $1,300 a set. The QCR Super Poly should be about $210, and the Zeus should be about $350 full retail value. So, just to give you a little bit of an idea of, you know, what that pile of cards is actually worth. Now, why am I making the decision to, you know, unload parts of the higher end part of my, you know, collection? So here's kind of where I'm sitting right now. One, I just don't use these cards at the moment. I was thinking about this the other day, and in terms of like the biggest thing here that I'm kind of losing out on is the Zeus itself, because if I ever want to play Zodiac again, I have a secret, an ulti, and I have the Starlight. Yeah, I know, best mismatch playset in the actual world here. But to get rid of that, I mean, that was probably the one that hurt the most. But I was like, you know, the person that's acquiring these was interested in, you know, having a Zeus. So I was like, all right. And the Super Polys were just something that I kind of picked up over time. I mean, just to have. A friend of mine ended up trading them to me for some sealed product at the end of the day. So those were whatever. But the biggest things here that I would be getting rid of are the Prospies and the Talents. Now, the biggest things with the Pot of Prosperities, the pot collection is coming around the corner. And to be honest with you, looking at Pot of Prosperity, I haven't played anything that needs them at the moment. When I do play the game, I mean, it's usually, I haven't played Eldritch in so long. It's usually Runic. Runic's what I have together. I have, you know, access to Zodiac, access to everything in the format. I don't know why I keep mentioning Zoo. You can also play like Kashtira and things like that as well. But I'm also, to be honest with you, the fear of seeing the Pot of Prosperity get hit eventually, I look at like how nice the playset is, and I'm like, I don't really want to take the risk at this point in time. There's no real point in trying to hold something that is so insanely high in terms of value that you're just looking at it and you're like, well, if I don't even play it, may as well just get rid of it. Now that brings us back here to the Talents. One of the best cards in modern era Yu-Gi-Oh! At this stage in time. Now, am I actually losing something with these? Same thing, I mean, I don't really play these at the moment. I don't think there's anything that I'm really losing too much about this. I still actually have my secret playset of these from back in the day, and actually when I acquired these, my friend picked these up during the height of COVID, you know, when everybody kind of had the free chicken tendy money, and he was like, I just want to downsize. So he ended up, you know, selling them to me, and I've had them ever since. Like, that's how I acquired, you know, this stuff. And I was like, I like having bling as much as the next person. I mean, like, I have ulti imperms, ulti, you know, I don't have ulti drolls. Contrary to popular belief, I still play my super drolls, which is hilarious at the end of the day, because it's like, you got the imperms, you got the Nibiru's, you got all of this particular stuff. You're just like, wow, you know, yeah, people enjoy having the nicer stuff to have. Now, this video isn't a be like, hey guys, look, I'm, you know, selling all this stuff, you know, cashing out. This is actually one kind of talking about what goes through my mind in terms of the game and analyzing these sorts of things. Two, to kind of show a standpoint here in terms of my own personal vested interest in the game and where I stand with higher rarity cards at the moment. Now, there will be things that I do choose to keep. I still have the World's Dark Magician Girl. I still have, you know, the YCS prize card set. At the end of the day, those aren't things that I'm moving, because those are, you know, more collector's side of things. When it comes down to like playset stuff, it's just, when you're looking at cards that are worth so much money, at the end of the day. I mean, I can justify, $100 Nibiru's because, I mean, especially if there's stuff that you got the chance to pull and win. That's one really big thing as well at the end of the day. Most of my Sky Striker deck, I ended up just actually upgrading for free out of OTS packs during that era because you would just pull them and you'd be like, oh, okay. Like, that's the only reason why I honestly still have Max Ready Sky Striker was because I kept pulling everything. And then, the new stuff came out, like the Rays were cheap. It was a pretty easy addition to the collection to be able just to kind of fondle that all in at the end of the day. So that's that. So at this point in time, from where I'm sitting with the slightly higher rarity stuff, it's always going to be your decision on the things that you value as a collector. And I think that is a good thing, but not everybody's going to have, these crazy expensive cards. Actually, there are a lot of cases where people do have, just the one rare card that they ended up pulling at the end of the day. And I do think that it is kind of important that, obviously, if you pull something that's really cool and you're like, I'm going to keep this, you do have to know when to assess, maybe this is the point that I should get rid of this. Maybe this is the considerable point in time where this is going to go crazy. You do need to accurately know when to judge your own collection. That's very, very important, all right? And I can't stress that enough. There are a lot of people that get very upset when, suddenly a card drops in price and like, I can't believe this. I hate this game. And it's like, I mean, the writing was on the wall. You read the reprint page. You knew this was coming. There's all sorts of, high impact signs of certain things that, the market triggers all the time in this sort of thing. And it amazes me that people don't see those signs. I don't expect every single person to see them. But if a card's, coming up here, or if you're just simply, I'm going to once again reemphasize the fact, if it's not something that you are currently playing at the moment, then drop it off. Though I will say that I am a very strong believer in this game, and I will stick to this, about having immediate access to play everything. That means I have Kashtira, I have Tier Elements, I have, everything in the meta that I even have Purely for, crying out loud. I opened up a case of the set to be able just to have. I have Rescue Ace. I have immediate access to all of this because, between me and my two friends that, want to kind of just come over and be like, ooh, today I want to borrow these cards and play this. Just having certain higher end staples at the moment, I'm just like, I'm not playing these. They all have their own staples. There's no point to keeping an investment in this. Now, something like Rescue Ace, I am going to keep because still I like the control aspect of that deck. I think it's really freaking cool the way that it plays. But at the end of the day, there's no higher need to keep some of this stuff other than the tee-hee-hee shiny cardboard make opponent go, wow, I hate you. I can't believe this. Also, I mean, any time that you would play Starlights like this at events, I cry very, very much because I'm always like, I hope I don't get my stuff stolen today. Like, I am scared shitless to be walking around with some of that higher end stuff. And I think most Yu-Gi-Oh players will agree with me here. Like, having higher end cards is nice, but at the end of the day, it's not worth the risk. So we try not to play cards like that. So that's my current update on things. It's time to say goodbye. Some of the slightly higher staple stuff. I still do have Starlights, don't get me wrong. I kept things like my Chamber Dragon Maids. There's no point, getting rid of those. I still like the deck a lot. It's a personal fan favorite of mine. And, it all kind of comes down to decision trees, but at this point in time, I don't have a crazy need for some of these staples. And I hope that this is kind of a pretty cool update as well for some of the collector's side of things, some of the mentalities that go through your head. Also, just consider the fact that having the free cash capital when, running a business to make sure that you can buy cards is also pretty important. Having your money parked in particularly high-end cards, and especially when things are a lot more lucrative right now, you can think the economy and things like that. A lot of people are dumping collections at the moment because they're just like, hey, I want immediate access to these funds. Those are pretty big things to really consider. So breaking down assets and spinning things back around is always going to be a pretty important part of the business world. I hope you got something out of this video because the collection world is very interesting, It's always interesting to see what's going through people's minds. You guys have a good rest of your day, all right? Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.